Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Will, and before the video starts, I just want to give you all a disclaimer that the video is going to be a pretty sensitive and graphic one. So if you are kind of squeamish about this stuff, or if it's triggering, then I'd say go ahead and just click off. This is just going to be another part of the story series that I tell. And since I'm in high school, this is one of the more important stories that is a part of me and just overall my experience as a person. So like I said, if you are kind of hesitant about watching this, then just go ahead and click off. Just go out and check out some of my other videos on my channel or something like that. But if you are willing, go ahead and stick around. I'll catch y'all in the video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Will, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the story series. It's been a little bit since I've told the last part of, I guess, my high school experience, and there's a good reason why it's been a while since I did that. So I have talked about my first couple days at school, and I've talked about just like the beginning of freshman year. And with freshman year, there were a lot of moments where I kind of was just trying to figure out, who I was and, who was around me. And I don't really think I did a good job of that, but it was really new for all of us. And, as time went on, we started to kind of gravitate towards certain people that we wanted to hang around with. And one of the things that kind of happened was that me being black, I kind of just ended up being around a whole bunch of black people. And if you relate to that, then you know what I'm talking about. And it was pretty much a lot like all of us just at the lunch table, just fooling around. And you had like the I don't know, I don't want to say nerds, but you honestly just had all the black males at a table. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that every black person isn't the same, obviously, but one of the things that we all had in common for the most part is that we were either from the hood or we were in an area that wasn't the best. And in turn, that kind of reflected the way that we were, the people we hung around, either inside or outside of school, and the things that we had to deal with. And the reason I'm explaining this is because the story that I'm about to tell and the story that I'm about to talk about, it's not a story about me only. And I feel like this story is important not only for the fact that it allows me to reflect on that time period, but it is also more of a look into the way that this type of life is, and how it affects not only the people involved in it, but also the people that are around it who aren't in it at all. So without further delay, I'm gonna get started. So basically what is going on is, like I said, I'm a freshman and we're in reading class, and something was going on that I really didn't notice until it happened to me. So there were multiple cell phones getting stolen at the time, and me being ignorant and non-assuming, I'm thinking whoa, it's a whole bunch of phones getting stolen at Air Force. What's wrong with this place? I couldn't believe it. It didn't make sense to me because I'm thinking oh, it's Air Force. This isn't something that should be happening. And I've said this before in other videos. So I'm yo, phones are getting stolen, and I'm hearing about it, and I'm yo, that's crazy. I hope it don't happen to me. And then, lo and behold, it happens to me. So, I'm in that situation man, I can't, it's tough because I gotta go back to the crib with no phone, and my mama is going to, beat me. She didn't beat me, but it was definitely an issue. So I had to get a little temporary replacement phone until I was able to get my phone back. Spoiler, I didn't. But what was going on was that people were stealing phones and they were gonna go sell them. You know how that type of stuff goes. So when I found out who did it, I was like, wow, that's crazy, because he was one of those people that was he was in that street shit for real. And like, he was just stealing phones, and I was just like, man, you know, like, how do you get into school, and you know, why are they stealing our phones? And you know, I was just asking so many questions because I just did not understand. And the reason I am saying this is because I want to establish the position that I did not like this person at all, based off the fact of what he did to me, and I did not agree with the lifestyle that he lived. And it was just one of those things that were really tough, because I've had multiple encounters with these type of people, whether it be at the school or outside of school. And it's just one of those things that you deal with when you're from where I'm from, or it's one of those things you deal with when you're inside the hood. And if you ain't like that, or if you don't know people like that, you know, you either fight and you risk a lot, or you let it happen and you just deal with it. And for me, I wasn't gonna do either until, you know, I was able to kind of figure out exactly what was going on. And once I figured out that like everybody's phones got like stashed up in the crib and they had like been able to track it, I was like, wow. So things didn't even really get fully resolved, and this is the reason why. And I'm gonna repeat right now, because I said at the beginning of the video, but if you skip that for some reason because you saw the black screen, I'm gonna say this right now. The part that I'm about to talk about is a very sensitive topic, and I understand that everybody is not gonna be willing to hear this. So if this is a part where, you know, you get kind of squeamish, or, you know, things kind of start to trigger you, go ahead and click off the video. You know, I would love it if you stick around and, you know, watch some other videos that I have up. But if you leave this one, I understand it. And with that, I'm gonna continue. So I remember this day like perfectly. I come into school, it's like 7:15, and we had these things called formation, where you had to go and you would all be in a flight of people, which would be like a row, like rows and columns of people behind each other, and we would all, you know, do like the national anthem. We talk about like updates for the day and all that stuff. So I walk into school, and it's a dark day. Like, it is like gray as you know what, and it's just one of those really gloomy days that makes you super tired and sluggish and just not want to be at school. So I walk into school, and the demeanor, the atmosphere was really off to me. Like, it felt really awkward to walk into the school, and I had never felt like that when walking into class or walking into the building before. So I walk into school, and you just see people like in an area in the middle of the hallway by the principal's office, and they're like making noise and just talking like really frantically. So I'm like, yo, what is going on? Like, this is weird, you know, like, this isn't the normal, this isn't how it is in the morning. And I had kind of just seen like a couple people that I knew, and they were like crying, and it was like yelping. It was really bad, and I'm like, yo, what is going on? So, you know, I'm just trying to find the next person I can think of that I know to kind of tell me what exactly is happening. And I found somebody that I was cool with, and I'm like, yo, what is going on? And they're like, you know, really frantic and kind of, you know, shaken up as well. And they're like, yo, you know, buddy died. And I'm like, you know, who? And they tell me who it is, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That is crazy. Because I don't want to say, I don't even want to say a nickname. Just know I'm referring to him. This person is the person that was stealing the phones and was, doing all that crazy stuff that I was just talking about. And I knew that it was this person that was doing that. So at the moment, I felt very conflicted, because on one hand, I was like, man, I don't like this dude. But then on my other hand, it's like, bro, this dude just died, and he's a freshman, he's a kid, and it wasn't because of like natural causes, it was because of gun violence, gang and gun violence. And I'm like, bro, it's such an awkward situation, because I actually wasn't like super mad at him at first, but when the song thing happened, it made me feel really awkward. And once I heard that, I had to drop it. I wasn't gonna be like, oh fuck dude, none of that stuff. Like, that's not me. But I'll be the first to admit, like, I didn't cry or nothing like that, because I wasn't cool with him and I didn't know him. But at the same time, it was like, man, bro, it's another situation where another person is gone because of the same old, gang and gun violence that we've been experiencing for I don't know how long. And the rest of the day was just the worst. Everybody was crying. Everybody was just so out of it. We couldn't have classes. Like, literally, our teachers had to kind of like stop class. They like, I don't even think we started class. That's how bad it was. We didn't start class, and we really just took the day to kind of like process exactly what was going on. And I think like even some people went home, like it was that bad. And I understand. And it was just crazy, because this was like one of the first instances where somebody that I knew, as far as like I seen them daily, and I've talked to them, all that stuff. This was one of the first times that I knew somebody and they ended up dying. And it was just like, bro, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. And it really, I guess, put in perspective how crazy Chicago was and is, because I don't really know if I'm gonna make separate videos about this, but I can tell you right now, that number has almost tripled. From my school alone, that number from him to now in 2021 has tripled. Countless people that I've either been in a situation with, or been around, knew, talked to, all that stuff, are gone now. And it's not even just like they're dead, but like either they're dead or like they're in jail. And it's crazy to know that, and to see how this all kind of started and played out, leading off with him. It was just like, man, it's a shame. It is a true shame. And it really just kind of set the tone for the rest of the year for us, because we just couldn't believe that this was a thing that just happened. And there are people that are still affected by that today, of course. And it's just one of those things where it really just pisses you off, really. Not even just for the fact that you lost somebody, or that person and their family lost somebody, but it's just the fact that it just keeps happening. And I'm not gonna be here to preach or to do any of that stuff. I honestly can say that for a whole nother video. But the reason I was telling this story is because it's a real thing, and I understand that it happens to not only me, but thousands of other people. So it's one of those things where it's just good to talk about it, and just to kind of process and understand the way that life is played out for you. But yeah, it was a crazy thing that happened, and I just wanted to kind of touch on it. I wasn't going to be too specific or long about this video. So I'm not really expecting any likes or anything like that. I'm glad if you watched, and I'll just catch y'all in the next one. I'll see y'all.